Can I be honest though? Like, I am so surprised. Like, there's so many movies, that are getting reboots or sequels. I mean, okay, so Bring It On has a bunch of sequels.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, there are a couple that I actually like. I'm gonna be honest. There are a couple. None of them will beat the first one, of course.
Right.
But I'm just like, do you know how interesting a sequel or a sequel series, kind of in the vein of Friday Night Lights, following these characters older? Like, I would love to see Gabrielle Union as a cheer coach. Like, with the success of like Netflix's Cheer,
Or
like this
Cobra Kai.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Like, this would have that is the project that she needs to do, because I think
Yes.
that would be phenomenal.
Write Zach his check. Write him his check.
Run him his check. And they both said it. Both her and Kirsten have said that they would be willing to do it. So I don't really know what the problem is and what's taking so long about it. But
That movie was so ahead of its time, though. I mean, to have the lead squad of your movie not win in the third act, like, as a kid, that blew my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
that's so cool and it would have been so easy for them to just been like, well, Kirsten, like, the Toros, they're gonna win because obviously it's Bring It On and they're the leads. But it was like, no.
I remember when I went to see that movie and I would have rioted. Okay. Fucking rioted.
Cobras for life.
I was like, you're damn right. And you tell that white girl. I don't even think she dragged her enough. And to have that feeling, to feel like the anger, then the vindication, and but also still have like love and empathy for the white team was such a weird dynamic in that, to have in that movie.
In a teen movie, in a teen comedy that's almost like bordering on like a sex comedy, because there is some raunchy stuff in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even, like, it deals with literally, it's so great. And I feel like people sometimes just categorize it as just, oh, it's a chick flick, oh, it's a cheerleader movie. And it's like, it really isn't. It's a lot more than that.
That movie was talking about appropriation of culture better than most politicians can even fathom it at this point, and any other movies that try to talk about race can.
Yeah.
I'm like, baby girl, you like Bring It On? Okay, go rewatch that, because we missed it. It's not clicking.
But I mean, even
these braids are for me, not for you. Do you understand?
Right. But like, even back then, because now there's even problems with, like, The Help and The Blind Side, glorifying the white savior archetype. And it's like, in Bring It On, they literally call that shit out. She says to Torrance to her face, like, I don't need your money. I don't want your help. I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah.
And she doesn't take it, she goes, why are you being so mean? Because, that's kind of like the natural response, because you don't understand where Isis is coming from. And then you realize, like, no, she wants to do it herself. She doesn't need a handout. She wants to prove that she's the best. And she was. So, it's so good.
It's unfortunate, because we should be able to have movies that gave us, the foundation, that we can have movies where we're talking about real things, but it could still be fun and it could still be built in this time frame. I'm sick of, like, so many Black people were like, we don't want trauma movies, we don't want slave movies, we don't we don't want movies that are really for show, so that progressive white people can go see these movies and feel like, oh, just so that I can fucking go to work after my weekend and have to be in a corporate space and then be like, Danielle, I just saw 12 Years a Slave. Oh, so now my struggles now in 2022. Like, please leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah. You just doing this is racist. Like, I don't care that you saw this movie.
Right.
I don't. And then you have movies where, like you said, it's the white savior situation happening. And it's just like, I don't blame Black actors, because they're trying to make a living.
Right.
Yeah. And these are the only movies for some reason that keep on coming up. And it's really sad. But luckily, with the podcast, that's one of the great things that we've been able to do, is we look back at some of the other movies, but we're also able to talk about, movies that maybe everyone that weren't mainstream, because, for Black people, we have Black movies. Unfortunately, it
shouldn't be a category.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, corporate Hollywood has made it a category.
Right. And then these movies do really well and they're like confused. And the same happens for female-led movies where
Oh
they're just
yeah.
like confused at why it did so well. It
I'm
should not be
so
confusing.
I know. I mean, I think, to be honest, like I grew up in a house filled with women. And so like it was never, I was just like, well, yeah, women can do anything. Like, yeah, women can like, I never thought, and like, I mean, I'm not comparing the two, but like to be honest, when I was a kid, if it was in front of me and I could choose to watch Mission Impossible or Charlie's Angels, I'm gonna watch Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do still find it so shocking that there are people like younger generations who have this kind of worldview where it's like, oh wait, a woman-led film or a woman can lead an action movie and it could be successful. It's like, duh. Like,
Yeah.
duh. It just blows my mind.
Well, you did great in your quiz.